disagree does not equal hate. Just because I do not agree that gender is fluid, just because I do not agree that a man can choose to be a woman and vice versa, does not mean that I hate anybody. It does not mean that I hate the people that really truly believe that. Hello out there. I want to introduce myself really quick. This is my very first video. I call myself Theo the Truth because on this channel, I'm going to be talking about giving my perspective on real life topics, anything that's current or relevant, or just in general, things that we all care about. Okay, so today I want to have a little bit of Cabernet in conversation in regards to a topic that is very on and popping right now. And I'm pretty sure that you clicked on this video because you read the caption and you wanted that tea to see what I was going to say about this. Okay. So I got some opinion for you on this topic. Some are not going to like it, some are going to agree. Hey, at the end of the day, if we agree to disagree, then that's cool too. But anyways, the reason why I'm making this video is because I had came across a TikTok video that I thought was hilarious. I thought it was very relevant, especially being a parent myself of a 10-year-old boy. Basically it was a TikTok video of a guy, and you all may have seen it. I don't have the replay here, but basically it was a guy, and he was talking about how hard it is now to be a parent because you have to explain, in his words, you have to explain the birds and the bees and the birds, or the bees and the bees and the bees, the birds and the birds, the bees that used to be birds and the birds that used to be bees, but they still got a stanga or something like that. He said it was cute and clever the way he said it. Y'all probably saw it. It was on TikTok. So this video has been shared over and over and over again, probably viewed millions of times. Who knows by now? It's kind of old, but I had came across it and I made a comment on under this person's video. And I said that nothing offensive, at least not from my perspective. I just said, in general, this is what I said. I said, I am going to teach my son basic biology. None of that other 21st century new age BS. He is going to learn basic biology. That's it. That's all I said, right? Little did I know that saying basic biology is somehow now offensive. You can't use the word biology nowadays, because with this whole new age left wing gender ideology that's been being pressed for these last several years now, everybody's offended by everything. And it's really gotten out of control. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. So making that comment, I had no ill or mal intent to make that comment. I was just basically saying my little 2 cents because it's a social media platform and we all have the right to free speech. We can say whatever we want to say. At least we're supposed to be able to, or whatever, according to the Constitution, basically, the United States Constitution. So this guy jumps on here. I'm assuming he's a guy. I mean, he looks like a guy. So he jumps on underneath my comment and he's like basically going in on me about calling me a transphobe, calling me or saying that I'm transphobic, and saying that I have no idea what I'm talking about. I need to go back to school. I need to teach my son real biology. And I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm speaking on a subject that I know nothing about. And just going in and and deeper on this. And I'm just thinking, I'm going back and forth with him like, what are you talking about? I mean, the truth be told is there are only two genders. What I was talking about the made up BS is all of this extra Z Zim these additional pronouns that people are trying to add into the equation, and basically just mixing up and confusing our kids and making them believe that they can just make up whatever they want to make up, and it's supposed to somehow reflect into reality. And I feel like that's a very dysfunctional way to operate. I'm not saying that I have anything against anyone who feels that they were born into the wrong body. You know, that is a very unfortunate situation. But what I am saying is, don't try to, it shouldn't even, the conversation shouldn't have even gotten this far. But it ended up basically with me saying that don't try to push your beliefs onto me. Don't try to guilt trip me into basically agreeing with or agreeing to this made up ideology of gender being somehow fluid, and you can choose to be a man or a woman or a boy or girl, or you can choose to not be either one. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't care what anybody says. It is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous ideology. And I do not want my child to be subject to having to learn or to be taught that this is normal, because it's not. It's wrong to try to guilt trip people and bully people into going along with your own personal fantasies, to bully people into silence. Either they basically, you're giving them two choices. You're either telling them they need to shut up, or you need to tell them, or you're telling them that they need to agree with you and go along with this BS. I'm here to say, look, I do not care how anybody wants to identify. Okay. I don't care how you want to identify. If you want to identify as a dog or a cat, that is perfectly fine. That is who you are. That is your personality type. That's just a part of your personality. But that has nothing to do with your biology, with your genitalia, with your chromosomes, and all of the other things that make us two different sexes. That has nothing to do with it. You choose wanting to wear a dress, and you're born a man and you want to wear a dress, does not make you a woman. It makes you a man who enjoys things that are traditionally considered to be feminine or for women. That's it. That is not when a person, but anytime a person says that, then guess what? They're automatically labeled as a transphobe or anti-trans. That doesn't even make sense. So you're basically saying that if anybody that does not agree with you is either afraid of you or hates you, that does not make sense. Come on, y'all. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, be who you want to be, but leave me out of it. Leave our kids or other people's kids out of it. Whoever it is, whoever you believe you are, whoever you are, be your genuine self and own that and love yourself. But don't try to put people's hands behind their backs and force them to play along with this weird ideology that is like that's really being pushed by the left side of things. I'm not trying to get political here, but we obviously know that there's more one extreme on this side of the left, and then there's the right side. I'm not going to go into too much politics with that, but I this topic is really driving me a little nuts. And it bothers me that people who don't agree with this ideology are being labeled as transphobes. That is not the case. People are not afraid of transgender people. People do not hate transgender people. We just want the right to be able to live in reality and be like, okay, that's fine if you want to do that, but I don't believe that you're not a woman or you're not a man. If you were born with a vagina, then you're a girl. If you're born with a penis, then you're a boy. And you will always be that. And that will never change. Even if you physically alter it or take hormones, you're still what you were born as. I'm sorry. It's just, like I said, some people are going to be offended by that and they're still going to call me whatever, trans or phobe, whatever, but I'm not. The crazy thing about it is a lot of people are still afraid to even speak on this topic, even though most people have the opinion that I have. Most people are afraid to speak on it because they're afraid of these labels. And it really begs the question of what is a transphobe? What does it mean to actually be transphobic? Well, nowadays, the definition of that doesn't even have the definition that it had probably 20 years ago, which was a legitimate definition of it, where people were really legitimately against people who had this gender dysphoria and who really truly believe that they're supposed to be in another body. And I'm not going to get into the metrics of all of that because I don't fully understand it. But there was people who really did do hate crimes against them back probably maybe 20 years ago. Nowadays, people are just labeling you as a transphobe just because you don't agree with left-wing gender ideology. So if you don't agree, that's what they call you. And they do that because it's the best way to guilt trip you into submission, into going along with this charade and this mess. So, but honey, it ain't working on me. I'm not. That ain't gonna work on me. Cheers. Look, honey, I love you. No matter who you are, I love you. But don't try to talk me into your belief systems. I have my own belief systems and I will continue with them. So you can leave the labels and the little name calling. You can leave that for the birds. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about self love. Okay. Because I think a lot of this has to do with lack of self love with the people who are going through this situation. Right. So, and what I mean by that is if you feel the need to always perpetuate something or always try to force people to accept you and to like you got to really ask yourself a question like, do I really love myself? Do you love self first? Because I would have to question whether or not if you do, if you're always looking for validation from the world and from other people. You gotta, if you really truly love yourself, you are not gonna always be looking for validation from Joe Schmo and Jane Doe. You're when you love yourself, you don't care what other people think. And the thing is, I don't even really know where all of this is going. Because, like I said, disagree does not equal hate. Just because I do not agree that gender is fluid, just because I do not agree that a man can choose to be a woman and vice versa, does not mean that I hate anybody. It does not mean that I hate the people that really truly believe that. My thing is, don't try to push that on me and then try to guilt trip me because I don't buy it. Don't do that because it's kind of like if you like let's say if there's a guy right that let's say if there's a guy that's interested in me and I'm not interested in him, right? And he's basically using mind manipulation tactics to get me to feel bad about not liking him or not being attracted to him or whatever. it's kind of like, hold on, like, look, you cool, but don't push. Do not, you just back up a little bit. Do not push.
Oh, okay. Well, don't push, okay? You might not want to push. I can set it off up in here. All right. Straight bow.
And it's like, look, don't try to manipulate my mind and try to manipulate me into doing what you want me to do, because that's not right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, look, come on now. Don't push. You might not want to push. Okay. So that's all I'm really saying, y'all. It's not about, none of this is about hate. And honestly, if somebody calls you, if you're not in agreement with this new age gender ideology, left wing gender ideology, however you call it, and if somebody calls you a transphobe, look, you know what that really just means, you don't agree with the ideology. That's all it means. It does not mean that you hate them. That is a way to guilt trip you into conforming. That's all it is. So I would chalk that shit to the birds. The word doesn't even have meaning anymore. Honestly, I think it's been explained a million times. So, my thing is, look, I'm gonna teach my child basic biology. I'm gonna teach him to be accepting of others, no matter what they believe, no matter what they look like. But at the end of the day, he will know the truth. Okay. And that's all I wanted to say. So if you want to leave a comment, I might respond. I may not. Um, if you don't agree, that's okay. You can still leave a comment. But you ain't gonna change my mind. Okay. So toast up. Ooh. Toast up, have a little Cabernet, and just relax. It's life. Life is good, y'all. Come on.